Today we're going to take you on a circular walk from Burnley, up over the hills and to the Singing Ringing Tree. It's about 7.5 miles in total, and there's plenty to see along the way. Manchester Road Station opened in 1886, replacing Thornybank Station. It closed to passenger traffic in 1961, only reopening with a train service for the town 25 years later. After the reinstatement of the Todmorden Curve in May 2015, a direct service was launched from Manchester Victoria to Blackburn, and a new station was built. From the station we head uphill, along Manchester Road. We pass Scott Park, which is worth a detour if you've got time. It was opened in 1895 with funds from the will of local businessman John Hargreaves Scott. Our route now takes us left along Rose Hill Road. When we enter Healy Woods, we take the lower of the two paths. The sound of busy roads quickly fades away as we head into Healy Wood. It is part of ancient woodland which has long since disappeared, although small pockets of it still remain. Continue in the lovely woodland, and when the path veers uphill to the right, we want to do an S-shaped manoeuvre, turning left, then shortly after taking a footpath to the right, before crossing the water at the double gates. Parts of this walk can be very muddy, so walking boots are essential. Turn right when you reach the road, then left at a junction. Take the right onto Lower Timber Hill Lane, which will lead into woodlands. We take the steep path uphill through Townley Woodland, following the footpath until it levels out. Head towards the road and turn right for a short stretch. After crossing the road, look out for a footpath sign just a few metres up the lane. Our path continues uphill as we steadily climb, with views opening up right across Burnley. We carry on until we reach Burnley Golf Club, which has been a feature of the landscape here since it was founded in 1905. Entering the golf club, we follow the boundary as it rounds a corner. Crossing a stile, the path ahead is across the large field, heading towards the Singing Ringing Tree, which you can just see in the distance. At the end of the field, our path continues downhill into Coppy Clough. We follow the pretty valley bottom for about half a mile, which eventually leads to a woodland. After leaving the trees, the route eventually opens up. Our path turns left at a signpost, just before and parallel to the main road ahead. By now, it'll probably feel like you've been walking uphill for a really long time, but we've very nearly made it to the Singing Ringing Tree. Just keep following the footpath up to the car park, and as you walk, keep an eye out for birds of prey. Follow the marked path towards the Singing Ringing Tree. This unique musical sculpture was completed in 2006 as part of the Panopticons project. Designed by architects Mike Tonkin and Anna Liu, it stands 3 metres tall, and when the wind is blowing in the right direction, the galvanised steel pipes create a low, tuneful sound. Views over Burnley and the surrounding area make this a perfect spot for a picnic stop, although it can be a little windy. Our path continues through the gates behind the sculpture, heading left downhill at a wall. We go through a gate, then continue downhill to the right of the wall. When you see a little house to the right, head towards it, joining a lane. This leads down to the main road. Cross carefully here, turning right. Look for a wall gap, which leads to a set of stairs into a field. We follow the stream downhill, before crossing a bridge and heading down to a lane. After walking through a farm and heading left through a gate, our path continues up towards what's known locally as the Fireman's Helmet. The vantage point from the top gives a great view down the valley, and you might spot a train passing if you time it just right. Continue down the hill, passing under a railway bridge and up to a main road. After crossing here, turn right, then left onto Park Road. Here, we walk on a pavement for a stretch, past houses and alongside the River Calder, before reaching a kissing gate. This section of the walk takes us through Townley farmland, and we follow the path, which will lead us to the beautiful Townley Park. Townley Park is the largest park in Burnley, with 400 acres of landscaped parkland surrounding Townley Hall and Museum. It has a long history as a private estate, with much of its current landscape the result of work carried out in the late 18th century by Charles Townley. The park and former family residence were purchased by the Burnley Corporation in 1902 and have been in public use ever since. The man on the left of this image is John Mackay, who was the first curator when Townley Hall became a museum in 1903. After exploring the grounds, follow the long road leading out of the park, eventually reaching a gateway marking the edge of the Townley estate. From here, cross the road at the lights and head up Parliament Street. After crossing a bridge at Finsleygate Wharf, take a right to head down to the towpath, then turn right onto the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. The wharf opened in 1801 and was instrumental in creating the industrial boom that took place in the north, ultimately making Burnley one of the world's largest producers of cotton cloth in the mid-1860s. Now the historic area has a new lease of life, with a popular cafe and restaurant on site, and is home to events like the Burnley Canal Festival. Continuing along the towpath, the route follows the curve of the canal past Old Mills. Burnley has 3 train stations, and you can choose to start or finish your walk from any of these, but today we're going to return to Burnley Manchester Road. When we reach a bridge with a ramp, we leave the towpath here. Turn left at the main road, heading up towards a roundabout. Crossing over here, we're back at the train station where we started our walk. We hope you've enjoyed travelling along with us today, discovering more about the area and some of the beautiful scenery you can explore from Burnley railway stations.